One of the core pillars of this event is amplifying the voices of the youth who will carry this legacy forward. Please welcome Marmara Anatolian İmam Hatip High School 10th grade student Mehmet Akif Ergani to the stage.
Dear researchers, dear delegates, dear students and teachers. I have about 10 minutes to deliver my talk, and I would like to use this time to offer an original contribution to this program. Academics from numerous top-tier universities have been invited for this two-day event. And since I cannot speak in as much detail as the experts in their respective fields, I have chosen a different angle. By the end of this program, we will already have gained considerable, invaluable insight into topics such as the history of Palestine, the events of October 7th, its causes and its consequences, the history of Zionism, and the realities of 1948 and beyond. I consider it quite important to address this issue specifically from Turkey's perspective, because we have unfortunately witnessed how paralyzed, inactive, and indifferent other global powers have remained throughout this devastating process. In times of war, ultimately, it is raw power that speaks. And Israel has never hesitated to demonstrate this to its adversaries time and time again. For this reason, we must examine Turkey's relationship with Israel as an interaction between two distinct visions of power in a region where Turkey holds significant historical, cultural, and geopolitical weight. Israel's commission of genocide and its extraordinary efforts to engage in actions that provoke global public outcry have, since the post-2030 process began, it has pushed even those who initially favored or remained neutral toward it into opposition. However, I must emphasize that our fundamental stance regarding Israel is based neither solely on this recent genocide, nor merely on the occupation they have maintained since 1948. It goes much deeper than modern political alignments. Throughout their thousand-year history, the Turks have been honored by Islam and have proudly carried its banner across continents through various states and empires. The principle of just war in Islam is profoundly simple. It is to prevent oppression and ensure justice. Oppression, or zulm in Arabic, can be interpreted in various ways. But to ground it in our current reality, expelling a society, including innocent civilians, from their ancestral homeland and systematically massacring them constitutes the absolute definition of oppression. To understand the modern Turkish Muslim state's responsibility, we must look at the prophetic tradition. The well-known hadith explains this concept very clearly. The Prophet, upon whom be peace, said, "Whoever among you sees an evil, let him undo it with his hand. If he is unable to do so, then with his tongue. If he is unable to do even that, then with his heart. And that is the weakest degree of faith." The most generally accepted classical interpretation of this hadith dictates a clear division of labor. Rectifying evil by force or state mechanism is the duty of the rulers and authorities. Rectifying evil through speech and truth-telling is the duty of scholars and intellectuals. And for those who hold no practical or executive power, the duty is to inwardly detest that evil and refuse to normalize it. As we can see in the political and state sphere, the duty of a Muslim manifests itself as a multi-layered, active call to establish justice and eliminate tyranny. The duty of a Muslim state, politically speaking, lies in actively preventing oppression. Furthermore, let it be stated unequivocally, within this framework any targeting of civilians by any side is absolutely unacceptable. Islam dictates that there is only governance through justice, and the means must be as pure as the ends. In other words, we can summarize this final framework we have arrived as follows. Israel governs the territories under its control not through justice, law, or ethics, but through massacres, oppression, and tyranny. Conversely, Muslims, as stewards obligated to uphold divine justice on earth, are commanded to put an end to this tyranny and establish justice. After all, God honors nations through a great mission of stewardship and justice and reward, not by oppressing the land and subjugating other people while calling them infidels, as some distorted ideologies believe. I think it's crucial to point this out today, that without this foundational understanding, I do not believe that supporting Palestine can be fully or meaningfully justified for us. At least as a Muslim Turk, I do not believe we can stand up to Israel based solely on contemporary secular justifications like wanting to be on the right side of history. Let me be entirely clear. I have no issue with those who act on such secular grounds. Human conscience is God's gift, and it is valuable wherever it is found. It's just that, for us, such framing holds very little depth within the context of a 1,000-year-old Turkish Islamic tradition, and the tradition that was started by the Prophet Muhammad, as our esteemed guest has said. Our mandate does not come from modern political trends, but from an enduring civilizational responsibility to stand against oppression wherever it rears its head. Thank you for listening.